Okay. Dito yung color mode, RGB, CMYK. And then you have your raster effects. Ito yung resolution. So sa Illustrator, you only have 3 options. Screen, medium, at saka high. So ang highest niya is 300 ppi. So best practice would be always set it at 300 ppi. Okay. Now, if you're already inside this, no, inside the document, and yun, katulad nung dinescribe mo, you downloaded the file, no, and then you want to make sure na it's at the highest resolution for raster effects, then you can go to effect, and then document raster effect settings. Yan. And then change it to 300 here.
Ayun, okay po. Kasi di ko rin po alam kung saan siya hahanapin kasi sa Photoshop, sanay ako, edit nga ba yun? Edit image size, parang ganun. Tapos ma-change mo na kung anong resolution na
Yes,
mataas.
oo. Pero this is ano lang, this works well with just simply opening the Illustrator file in After Effects. Yung direkta na AI file. Okay? Pero kapag, let's say, nagsasave tayo as JPEG, so let's say ito, JPEG, let's say change natin to JPEG. Okay? And then click on export. Okay? Kailangan yung settings mo dito, naka-hide din.
Okay po.
Okay. Especially for you, Patty, no? Kasi web-based. So, normally, raster talaga yung mga images na kailangan mo. So, kung gagawa ka ng line art in Illustrator, tas kailangan mo siya in JPEG format, pero gusto mo high quality siya, then make sure na naka-set ka to high, 300 ppi. But ideally, for screen, because it's screen display, 72 ppi yung normally standard for on-screen. Pero kung gusto mo talagang very fine yung lines as much as possible in JPEG format, then medium to high would be ideal. But again, kapag higher quality, higher resolution, higher or bigger file size yun. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. So yun, Raf, hope I think that answers your question, no? Basta AI to AI file direct into After Effects, yun ang gamitin mo. Document
Okay.
raster effect settings. Okay. All right. So, what about you, Patty? Do you have questions, ma'am?
Wala pa po.
Wala. All right.
Wala.
So, good. All right. So our next topic is all about viewing the artwork. So this is where you get to learn 2 more tools, no? So since yesterday up to this point, ang nasubukan nating tool was just the artboard tool at saka yung ibang functionalities revolving around artboards. So our next topic, viewing artwork, we will start using the hand tool, zoom tool. What are the view options now we have? No, viewing artboards using the status bar we demonstrated yesterday, but we'll touch base on it again right now. And then changing views at saka screen modes. Okay. So we will do the demo based on the guide. Okay, yan. So ito tayo. Alright. Sisiguraduhin ko lang na may nakikita kayo sa aking screen. Alright. Okay. So viewing artwork guide. Alright. So with this now, we will need the file from yesterday, which is the tour file. The tour 1 file. Okay. Just for demonstration purposes. So let me reset my workspace. There you go. All right. Okay. So, especially when you work with multiple artboards or very complex artwork, ang importante sa atin is nakakapag-zoom in, zoom out tayo. Nakikita natin visibly the entire artboard, or pwedeng all the artboards, kailangan natin siyang makita at one point in time. Okay? So, we will try all those things. Alright? So, zooming in and zooming out, itong apat no, zoom in, zoom out, fit artboard in window, and then fit all in window. So these are available in our Adobe Illustrator. You will find it under view. So view, and then ito siya, zoom in. Ayan, so nag-zoom in tayo, zoom in. Okay. And then you can also zoom out. Okay. Zoom out. All right, you can fit an artboard in the window. So, ganun siya. One artboard. Okay. Or you can go to fit all in window. Okay. Yung shortcut key niya is Control plus to zoom in, Control minus to zoom out on the keyboard. Alright. Control 0 to zoom in on or fit an artboard in the window. And fit all is Alt Control 0. Okay, Alt Control 0. Ayan. Okay, so again, Control plus, Control minus, Control minus. Okay, Control 0 is fit artboard in window. And then Alt Control 0 is to fit all the artboards in your screen. Okay? Ha? Nawala si ano? Nawala ang classmate mo. Let's wait. Baka na, ano siya, na-disconnect. Okay.
Nawala.
Oo, nawala. Nawala si Raf. Sabi ko, bakit tayong dalawa lang yung nakikita ko sa webcam? Let's check. Wait nga natin. Kamusta naman yung company nyo, Patty? Surviving naman.
Tatanggalan na po.
Ah, talaga? Wala,
Sadly.
no?
Opo.
Alam mo, lahat talaga naghihirap.
Yung account po namin nawala na mismo. Pero naiwan kaming email support.
Okay.
Medyo sad.
Oo, talaga. Totoo yun. Stated earlier was, just ito lang, yung zoom in, zoom out, fit all in window, fit all in, fit artboard in window, and then fit all in window. Okay. So, lahat to, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 options, you can find under the view menu on your application bar. Alright. So, you see it here. Zoom in, zoom out, fit artboard in window, at saka fit all in window. You may go to the view menu and just choose whichever you feel like using. Or you may use this 4 shortcut keys indicated here. Alright, so yun. So nag-demo lang tayo ng Control plus is to zoom in, Control minus is to zoom out, and then Control 0 is to zoom on the active artboard. And then Alt Control 0 is fitting everything on the screen. Okay, so yun yung very useful shortcut keys. All right. Now, when it comes to screen mode, let's take a look at this now. So etong screen mode is basically changing the visibility of the illustration window or in Documenta window along with the menus. Okay. So it's this one. Okay. Change screen mode. All right. So meron tayong presentation mode, normal screen mode, full screen mode with menu bar at saka full screen mode, Laboy. So right now, we're seeing all the ones on the side. So that's your normal screen mode. Pag full screen mode with menu bar. Teka, ano nangyari? Ito siya, no? Okay. So, pag full screen mode with menu bar, nawala yung document tab. Okay? Yan siya. And then, if you want to go full screen mode, yun. So, the panels, the toolbar, yung the ones on top, it doesn't show anymore. So, it's just plainly your documents, the document that's showing. Press escape, no, to go back. All right. And then you have your presentation mode. This is how it looks like. So, it presents each artboard on your screen. Okay, and then you can use the arrow keys to navigate from one artboard to another. Okay, ayan. Alright, okay. Did you see the difference? Okay, alright. So, yun. So, that's, this is useful if you're simply presenting to a client, no? Okay, yan. So, press escape to exit and go back to normal. Alright. Okay. So, ayan. So, what we just demonstrated are the ones that's indicated here in bullets. Now, you can toggle from one screen mode to another using the F key on your keyboard. All right. Now, hand tool versus zoom tool. Okay. So, where can we find those two tools? It's over here. Okay. So, kung single line lang yung toolbar natin, it's down here. All right. Now, there's a small triangle. So, this is indicating that there's a hidden tool. So, yung hand tool is underneath the zoom tool. So, let me expand this or tear it off. All right. So, using the zoom tool, you can, by default, may plus sign in the middle of the cursor. So it means it's going to zoom in. So there's two ways of using it. You can simply click on an area and it zooms in that area. Okay. You can create a marquee. When I say marquee, you click drag using your mouse. Okay. Yan. Click drag. All right. Click drag. Okay. So, magzo-zoom in siya. Okay. When you want to zoom out, click drag going down. It zooms in. Click drag going up. It zooms out. So, may plus sign din. Okay. I will release the button on my mouse. All right. If I want to zoom in a particular area, I can also hold down Alt. No, the cursor becomes a minus sign. It shows a minus sign. So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, magzo-zoom out siya. Okay. Hold down the Alt key. Then it becomes zoom out. Okay. And then click. Okay. And then I'll click here to click drag to zoom in. All right. Now, ano ang difference between zoom tool and the hand tool? So, the hand tool allows you to move around the canvas. Yun. Okay. Just move around the canvas. So that's the advantage of using the hand tool. Now, while zoom is just zooming in a particular section. So let's say nandito ka and you're working at this magnification level. Okay? But you want to move. No, you want to move. Okay. So temporarily, I can switch to a hand tool. Click drag. hold down space bar. Okay, so notice my cursor changes to hand tool. Okay, hold down the space bar and then release the space bar. Babalik siya dun sa selected tool. So again, ang advantage ng space bar is you can temporarily switch to a hand tool. Okay. So what happens if I double click on the zoom tool? Let's see, no? So let's double click on the zoom tool. Okay. It goes to 100% magnification. Okay. If I double click on the hand tool, okay, it fits the active artboard on the in the window. Okay. So again, if I double click on the zoom tool, 100% magnification. Double click on the hand tool, it's fitting an artboard in the window. Okay. Questions so far? None. Okay. Pretty clear, no? Okay. So how else can we adjust the navigation or the magnification of the document, no? So you can go down the status bar. I think we've shown this yesterday. And then you can choose fit on screen or choose a different magnification level. All right. Okay. And then you can also navigate using the arrow keys here from one artboard to another. Or just choose the artboard using the drop-down menu. Okay. Yan. All right. Questions so far? None? All good, guys? Okay. So I'll give you about 5 minutes, no? All right. Try it out just to get used to it. No? Use the viewing artwork guide. Well, you have a maximum of 10, but I think just 5 minutes will do. All right. So let me stop sharing my screen. So if there aren't any questions, no, we'll proceed to viewing elements. No? So on top of what we have learned under view, let me share my screen first. Okay, so on top of trying out the different types of views, screen modes, no, we also tried the hand tool and the zoom tool. Okay, so we'll proceed to continuation of viewing elements. Okay, so here we'll understand the different previews. Okay, we are going to start using basic shape tools at saka the drawing modes, no? As well as changing previews using the layers. Okay. So we'll need to download the zooming.ai file. Okay. You may also download these two PDF files. All right. So let's open the viewing elements PDF file. Okay. Now, as you draw, you create a line that's called a path. So all these items, we will definitely try those things out tomorrow. No? Lalo na tomorrow, we will get back to this in review. So pag nagdo-drawing tayo sa Illustrator, lahat ng lines na ginagawa natin using any of the drawing tools in Illustrator is called a path. Okay? A path is made up of either curved or straight segments. Okay, so when I create a new document, let me just create to demonstrate. I'll zoom in this artboard. All right, and then I create a path. Okay, so I click on this area, and then over here, no, basically this is a path. This is called a line segment. Okay, this is called a line segment. Okay. These points over here, the small boxes that you see here, are called anchor points. Okay. Any point along a path is called also a point. All right. Now, there are two types of path. that you can create in Illustrator or any vector program, okay? You have an open path. So an open path looks like this, okay? And a closed path is like this. Okay, so again, this is called an open path. This is called a closed path. Okay. Bakit? So if this is filled up with the color, right? No. Etong portion of this shape doesn't have an outline. So that's why it's called an open path. Whereas if you have applied a fill color, okay, there's an outline around the shape. So that's called a closed path. All right. Okay. Then all these points that's indicated here will come back to that once we start drawing, okay, which is tomorrow. All right. Now, there are drawing modes, no? So where can we find these three buttons? Those three buttons are found over here. Okay, so if you have a two-column toolbar, then ito siya. Okay. So by default, nandito tayo sa drawing normal. So pag sinabing drawing normal, every time we create shapes, no? Ganyan ang stacking order niya. Ang pinakauna will always be the bottom. Ang pinakahuling object natin na kinreate is always going to be on top. So yan yung stacking order niya. Alright? So if I take a look at my layers, alright, let me delete this. Okay. Ano ang naaalala natin in Photoshop? Sa Photoshop, every time you add a photo or an image in Photoshop, it creates a new layer. Tama? So every layer, so every time nagdadagdag ka ng nagdadagdag, whether text within Photoshop or nag-import ka ng image or nag-create ka ng shape in Photoshop, lahat yan papasok layer by layer. Right? In Illustrator, it behaves differently from Photoshop. Because when you create, no, by default, you'll only have one layer. Always one layer. Okay? Every time you create a shape, it just goes inside that single layer. Okay? So it's just a way for you to organize your elements or objects in Illustrator. So every time you create, okay? And every time you create, ang stacking order niya is from bottom to top. Okay, so pinakahuli mong object will always be on top. So everything under a single layer, but you see this arrow, it's a drop, it can expand, and ito lahat ng shapes na ginawa ko. From the first shape ever that I created to the last shape that I created. So it follows that stacking order. So if I create a new one, then it's actually this one. Alright? So yung layers dito sa Illustrator, ang more or less, the function is really for organizing your items. Okay, or objects. Then you can create a new layer clicking on the plus sign. No? While this is selected, we create another shape. No? Then it goes to that second layer. All right. Okay. So we'll go back to the layers panel when we get to that topic, no, later in the session. All right. So pag draw normal, bottom to top. Okay. So what happens if I select naman draw behind? Okay. So I create a shape. All right. I click on draw behind, no? While I have this object selected, what happens, no? So let's choose a different color para makita natin. Let's say green. Okay. Ay, green. Alright. Click drag. Change this to blue. Okay, yan. Alright. So, ano nangyari? Raf, ano nangyari?
Ang ano nangyari po dun sa shapes?
Yes. So, yung first shape natin was this green na
Mm-hmm.
square, right? And then yung second shape was created yung blue. Okay? So, ano yung nangyari nung pagka-create ko ng blue? Saan siya saan siya nag-draw? Sa top or sa bottom?
Sa bottom?
Correct. So, kung normal tayo, kung ito siya, draw normal, okay? While you have this selected, you create another shape over here. Okay? Yan. So, sa top siya. Pero, kapag sinelect mo tong object na to, and then you click on draw behind, okay? You click drag, somewhere in the middle here, yan. Sa likod siya nung selected object. Ayun lang yung difference Pag normal, ibabaw lang ng ibabaw. Pag draw behind, meron kang point of reference na object. So, sinelect mo tong square na to. And then, pag nag-draw ka, ilalim lang ng ilalim. So, kung ano yung selected na object, ilalim nun. Katulad niyan. Okay, eto. Nasa ilalim ulit siya. Kasi, ang drawing mode ko is behind. Okay. Gets? Gets nyo ba, guys? Alright. So, medyo medyo clear, okay? Alright. Now, what happens if you have this option, yung last option, which is draw inside? Okay. So, create tayo ng shape. Alright. We click on draw inside. Okay. And then choose, let's say, a different shape. Ellipse. Okay. Mapapansin nyo, pag meron tayong selected object and then we click on draw inside, okay, there's like dotted lines sa mga corners. See, this one, no? Dotted lines sa mga corners. Alright? So, if I click drag, okay. Alright? So, again, I click drag. Okay. So, it did not draw the entire circle behind the shape. Pero mukhang inside siya ng shape. Right? Okay. So, ito yung siguro baka familiar kayo sa term na clipping mask. Right? Sa Photoshop may clipping mask. Okay. Pero iba yung way of doing it in Photoshop. So here, as you draw, you can already draw inside a shape, a mask. Okay. By using this option. Alright. So draw inside. Okay. If you take a look at the actual shape, alright, makikita mo, intact yun. Yung circle na yun. Alright. Ito kasi yung outline. So, yung path mo. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya na-cut. Buo siya. Nandun lang siya. Okay. Go view and then GPU. Okay. So, I can select the shape. No. Okay. I can, saan ba? I can select this shape. Ayan. Let me do it again, para sure. I can double click on the shape. Okay, yung circular shape. Okay. And then, mapapansin nyo, may gray bar on top. Okay. So, ang tawag dyan is isolation mode. Alright. So, ibig sabihin, you're inside this. You isolated this item. Okay. Now, I can use my arrow keys. Left, right, arrow keys to move it. Or even click drag, no, para i-move natin to dito. I can do the same thing on this other ellipse, no. I can move it, no. If I click outside, no, double click outside, then ganyan yung itsura niya. Nawala ka na sa isolation mode. Okay, so again, double click on the shape that's inside the clipping mask, and you get this gray bar, so it indicates na you're in isolation mode. All right. Okay, question so far? Wala naman. All right, good. Okay. So, we just demonstrated all these three, no? So, 1A, pag-draw normal, then yung stacking order niya is from bottom up to top, okay? And then if you choose draw behind, select an object, and then choose this option, and then start drawing. It goes behind the object, okay? And then if it's draw inside, it creates a clipping mask, okay? All right. All right. So in terms of draw behind, it works closely with or it's applicable to the following scenario. So when you're creating new layers, placing symbols, placing files from a file menu, alt drag to duplicate the objects, and then paste and place and paste all artboards. Okay. All right. Now, if you want to switch from one drawing mode to another, over here, okay, pwede tayong, ayun, when you mouse over naman, again, it gives you the name of the feature or the tool, and also, if applicable, the shortcut key. So, meron tayong Shift D to switch from one mode to another, one drawing mode to another. Okay. All right. Now, different views. Okay. By default, ganito siya. As you draw, as you apply color, it will show it to you in default na all lines seen, all colors are visible. Now, there's also another option. There are a couple of previews, but we'll just tackle outline and then the general GPU preview. So for, let's say ito, you drew a circle, and then you decided to remove the fill color and the stroke color. Okay, so nawala siya. Yan. If I click outside, it's not selected. Nawala. Okay. Pero nandyan siya. Wala lang kulay. Right? Now, that's where outline comes in. Okay. So, you go view and then outline. All right. So, when you do a view outline, it basically gives you the outline preview of all the paths. No colors, nothing. No, just the paths. So this preview is very useful, lalo na kung alam mong na-create mo na yung object na yun, tapos nawalan lang ng colors, at gusto mo siyang hanapin. So very useful siya. So if I move here, yan, ganyan siya. Okay. This proved to be useful when I was working as a fashion/graphic designer for a cheerleading merchandise. So we deal with printers which do dye sublimation, so dye sub on fabric. So we dye sub cheerleading outfits, and it uses PostScript information. So we send the Illustrator file, hindi JPEG, hindi bitmap, hindi GIF, but rather Illustrator kasi vector para very clear yung lines niya and the colors are very bright. So when we print it out, kahit walang kulay itong path na to, sometimes lumalabas siya as black in terms of printing. So for us as graphic designers, when we send the file to the printer with very parang very detailed kind of printer, or talagang high-tech yung printer niya that it detects even the paths and prints then on paper or on fabric, nililinis namin. So bago pa kami mag-send ng file dun sa sa vendor or the printer, we clean it up. So we would go into outline preview and then see if there are unnecessary paths left over in the artwork and delete those before sending it across to the printer. Okay, so sometimes it's very helpful to switch from one preview to another. Okay. There are also other previews available for you. So you have the overprint. This is very useful for printing. Lalo na kung meron kang mga translucent objects, translucent objects uh, that's stacked with one another. Alright, so pag may translucent tayo, let's say 50% red, okay, pinatong mo sa 50% blue, okay, you would want to see how it would print, no? It's not 100% accurate, but as much as possible, it will simulate how it would actually look like in terms of print. Alright. Pixel Preview allows you to take a look at your artwork if it's saved in a JPEG format. This may also prove useful for you, Raf, as well as actually for both of you. No? So for Patty, kung magde-design ka ng mga elements that will be used for website design or i-upload mo siya, you want to see how it would look like kasi at the end of the day, for you, Patty, you will save it as JPEG, di ba? Or HTML page kasi pwede mong i-set up yun sa sa AI. So, baka gusto mong tingnan how it would actually look like. Is it low res? Is it good enough in terms of quality? No? Same then with RAF, no? If it's gonna be exported and viewed din siya in a video format, then you may also want to consider checking out the pixel preview before exporting. Kasi if you need to make some adjustments, then you can do so before exporting the file. Alright? Alright. Questions so far? None? Okay. So let me go back. Okay. Alright. Okay, so this table basically tells you or shows you some commands or shortcuts. No, you can have this printed out or saved somewhere or make it a wallpaper. Pero marami kasing shortcuts. But again, it's there to view all artwork as outlines. Let me just correct you on this. It's Y. Okay, not E. Control or Command Y. So Command is for Mac, but I think you both are using Windows. So Control Y, all right? Or go to View and then Outline. Previewing artwork in color, so you may go to View Preview or View GPU Preview. Okay, and then yan. So later on, we'll actually cover this kasi we'll tackle the layers topic separately. All right. So what if you have multiple documents open? All right. So this is where sige, let's retain this file now. Let me reset my workspace. So wala masyadong gulo sa aking screen. All right. So let's say you have multiple files open. Kasi posibleng you may want to copy from another file that you created. Meron kang certain logo na you need to get from one file to another, no? Or you may want to try and copy the colors. Yan, zooming. Let's open the zooming file. Okay, yan. Okay, so I have 3 files open. Alright. Pero, ang gusto natin mangyari is makita natin yung documents on a single screen. Okay, all 3 documents, you want to display it na parang nakatile. All right. So it's this option, arrange document. So you have to click on this button or yung drop down na yan. And then you have choices here that you can choose. Alright, ayan siya. Okay, so yun lang yun. No? So again, if you have multiple files open, by default, it's gonna be tabbed. Okay, by default, ganyan siya. Alright, it's a tabbed view. Alright, but you can view it differently. Okay, depending on the number of documents you actually have open. Alright. Ang advantage niyan is if you're copying something, if you want to drag and drop an element, okay, you can do that. Alright. Using this arrow key, that's called selection tool. Alright. Alright. When you click drag from one document to another, it actually your mouse changes to a plus sign. So, ibig sabihin, idadagdag niya doon. Alright. Okay. Questions so far? None? Okay. So, with this exercise, guys, ito siya. Viewing elements exercise instruction. So, I just want you to get used to the tools and the commands, no, in terms of viewing elements in the program. So, you'll need to open. So, if we'll follow the steps here, no, you'll try these things out. So the first step is you have to open those two files, which is yung zooming and then the tour one AI files. All right, so we'll open these two files. I have it here and this one and this one. So let me close this. All right, and then try arranging. No, use the two up. This one, two up. Okay, ayan siya. All right, and then check this out. So again, this instead of instead of E, this is supposed to be Control Y. All right, so try this things out, and then no need for this. You can skip this because we did this twice. No, yung creating a new file. Hindi pala. Ano nga pala to? We try out the drawing modes. Okay. So try this out, no? And then the next step is you may close these two documents and then create a new document. All right. Well, you can just remove, you just need a single artboard anyway. All right. And then try this one out. Okay. So create a rectangular shape. So we will need the rectangle tool. All right. So click drag. All right. All right. So drawing normal. And then what you do is, okay, we will create 4 ellipse shapes, but you choose draw behind. Okay. So click this, draw behind, and then choose ellipse shape. So ellipse is under the rectangle tool. Okay. Ellipse. And then click, drag, and then click, drag, and then click, drag. Okay. So those 4 shapes are behind the rectangular shape. Okay. So ayan siya. All right. And then save your file afterwards. And then yung file name should be your name _ viewing. All right. Questions so far? None? Okay. Medyo madali-dali pa to. Okay. So we have 8 minutes to do those things. No? Okay. All right. So questions so far, guys? None? All right. So let me just quickly demonstrate no yung sa kaninang nangyari kay Patty. Let's see. Okay. So finally we were able to use some of the shape tools, no, particularly yung rectangle shape and the ellipse shape. So let me tear this off. Now, just a quick introduction of what is also going to be covered tomorrow. No, so When you create a shape using the shape tools or the drawing tools in Illustrator, no? So, let's say rectangle. All right. So, again, shortcut key niya is letter M. No? When you mouse over, you see the tool name and also the shortcut key. So, two ways of drawing a shape. Okay. So, you can click drag, and that's what both of you actually did. No? The other way of creating a rectangular shape is simply clicking on a blank area or a blank space. Okay. Then you get the window where you can indicate because it's a rectangle shape. So talagang width and height lang ang ma-indicate mo. So you can type in the values instead. So let's say width is 5 inches and then the height is 3 inches. Okay. And then hit OK or click OK or hit enter. And then it creates that shape with very specific dimension. Okay. Same thing also happens with the ellipse tool. So you can click drag, no? Or you can click on a blank space and you get this window. So you can have 5 point for the width and then 5 point for the height and then click OK. Ayan, sobrang liit niya. Okay. So, ganun din for the polygon tool. Click drag. Alright. Or you may uh, just click on the blank area and then you type in the radius and the number of sides. Okay, so ganun siya. Yun. Kaya for you, Patty, ganun yung nangyari kanina. Parang may nakaklik ka lang and then biglang lumabas yung window na yun. Alright, okay. So we'll go back to using the drawing tools tomorrow. Pag nag-drawing basics na tayo. Alright. So our next topic, okay. So our next topic is actually the last one. So baka mapaaga tayo ng tapos. Alright. So it's all about layers. Alright. So here you will learn that you create stacks, one object on top of another as you draw them. So that's what we already demonstrated in the viewing elements, no? And then using the arrange button to change the stacking order, arrange and organize items using layers, and then lock and unlock layers. Okay, so we'll do a demonstration and then you will also do the same thing, no, after the demo. Okay, so same practice tayo. We're gonna use naman the layers exercise. Okay, so let me open the layers exercise. All right. Okay, so we'll need this layers exercise and then we'll also need the layers panel. So let me drag it here to basically emphasize on that panel. All right. So like what I mentioned before, no? So let me create a new layer. I click create new layer in the layers panel. While this is selected, let's do a quick demonstration. So every time again you create, depende doon sa sinelect natin na drawing mode, meron yang fina-follow na stacking order. So if you are in the draw normal mode, then every time you create, it stacks on top. Okay, so yan yung stacking order. And again, it's on a single layer. All right. Let me just try opening. Okay, yan. All right. So, layers provide a way to manage all the items that make up your artwork. Right. So, as indicated here, the first bullet, then you have to think of layers as clear folders. No, so pwede niyong i-reshuffle yung folders, no? Put one on top of the other. Okay? Ang pinaka-visible sa mata nyo would be the topmost layer. Okay? And then yung pinaka nasa likod or at the bottom layer would be at the bottom of your panel. Okay. So you can think of layers as clear folders, which you can actually reshuffle in terms of stacking order of your items. No. So again, by default, as you start drawing, if you're not doing anything in your layers panel, everything will be drawn in under a single layer. Okay. Now, if you're not seeing the layers panel, you may find it under window and then ito siya, layers. Alright? Okay. Now, each layer, no, up to 9 colors, maximum of 9 colors. So, each layer, you can assign a color. Alright? So, para sa yung color na yun? Para, pag nagsaselect tayo ng objects, guys, okay, katulad nito, green to, no? Selection niya is green. So, if you select, yung ano niya, selection niya, nagiging green. So, mas madali for you to easily spot, no? Kung saang layer siya nakalagay. Alright, so let's say kung ito ang i-click ko, blue naman yung selection. So, this is your layer. Okay? This is the active layer. This object is under changing order layer. Right? So, if I select these items, no, again, nasa blue siya. Pag ito naman, it's red selection. See? Okay. So, yun. So, it's a way to easily spot, no, which layer it's actually saved. All right. Okay. All right. Now, in the layers panel, no, you will see a lot of elements. No, okay. So let me pause for a moment and then go back to you guys. No, so thinking of Photoshop. Okay. Ano-ano ang pwede mong gawin sa Photoshop in terms of layers? Raf.
Ah, yung layers po ng Photoshop,
Yes.
di ba po ang layers sa Photoshop ay yung parang per shape one layer, ganun.
Yes, correct, correct. So, ganun ang behavior niya. So, every time na magka-create tayo sa Photoshop, whether nag import ka ng photo, nag-a-add ka ng shape within Photoshop, nag-a-add ng text sa Photoshop, each one would actually come up as a separate layer. Very good. What else, Patty? What do we remember about layers? How do you use layers in Photoshop?
Hmm, since per element siya, pwede rin siyang i-combine into one layer. Pag
Correct.
ano
So
na, pag
merong
okay na.
merging. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So yung pwede kang mag-merge na mga layers. Very good. Now, other things that you can also do with layers sa Photoshop was, sa-select ka ng layer, tapos a-apply ka ng effect. Like drop shadow. 'Di ba ganun yon? Doon kayo
Mm.
naglalagay. Right? Um, pwede ka ring mag-hide. 'Di ba? Pwede ka magtago ng images. Okay? So you can also do the same thing sa layers in Illustrator. So here you will see this eye, no? It basically allows you to toggle the visibility. Okay? So you can unhide, you can hide, no? So yan, tinago niya, no? You can display it. Okay? You can hold down control. Okay? Outline siya. Okay? Outline. Alright. So, ito, outline preview lang ang makikita mo dito. Alright. Okay. Now, you can also lock para hindi mo siya ma-move. Okay. So, ito siya.
Hmm.
Okay. Hold down Alt, no? So, let's say ito lock. hold down Alt on a particular layer. And then, ang gagawin niyan, hold down Alt and then click, no? Ang gagawin niyan is ilalock niya lahat ng hindi selected na layers.
Oh.
Ganon. So, hold down Alt. Okay? Ayan. And then, this one naman is to, if you click here, so ito, pag mag-mouse over tayo, it says, click to target, drag to move appearance. So, if you click this, okay, it basically selects all the elements in that layer. Pag ito. No? As opposed to, like, sa-select mo isa-isa. No? Pwede kang mag-click lang on this button and it selects everything on that layer. Okay? All right. So you can expand it, no? And then you can just simply click on this button to select a certain part of the object. Okay. Now with layers, no, same as in Photoshop where you can also rename the layers, you may double click on the layer and then ganito siya, i-highlight niya yung layer name. And then you can change it to a different layer name. Lalo na if you're someone who's really organized when it comes to designing your artwork. Okay. So you can rename. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I just demonstrated are the ones that you can find here, no? Yung mga walkthrough ko earlier about the layers. All right. So how do we create a new layer? You may click on this. Okay, create a new layer. So under this, whenever you have a new layer selected, no, mag-highlight ito. So this allows you to create sublayers. Okay.
Oh.
Sublayer siya. Okay. So under this, so I select this, no? I click this. Under siya nitong layer 5 is under layer 4. Kasi I just indicated na I wanted to create a new sublayer. Alright? Alright. Okay. What else can you do? So, yung in terms of stacking order, no, we can click, drag a layer. Same as kung paano nyo ginagawa in Photoshop. So you may click, drag a layer, move it in between two layers, no, like this. No, click, drag, ayan. Okay, click, drag, ayan. Okay, so nagmo-move siya. Alright? Okay, what else? You can expand and then move a sublayer, no, a sublayer to another layer. So when you click, drag, ayan siya. Nag-highlight siya kung saan siya mag-move. Then release the mouse, release the button on your mouse, okay, to move it. All right. Okay. All right. Ayan. So what I just demonstrated is the options here. Also this one. Okay. Now, in terms of release items to separate layers. So let's say you have this, no? I have layer 3, which if I expand 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 objects under. Okay. Now, I can select this layer that has 4 objects and then go to the context menu. So, itong context menu is yung tatlong lines on the upper right-hand side of the layers panel. You may also find this in other panels available in Illustrator. Depende kung ano, not all the panels would have a context menu. But nice to know would be the fact that some layers would have what we call a context menu, which would have multiple options pa for you to choose or use. Okay. So when you select a layer, now you have multiple options to choose from using the context menu. Pwede ka rin ditong mag-create ng new layer, sub-layer. Pwede ka mag-duplicate ng layer. You can create a clipping mask, no? Enter isolation mode. You can flatten, no? So you can collect into a new layer. You can release to sequence. You can release to build. Okay. Um, if let's say I create a release to sequence, then it basically creates sublayers, new sublayers with the object there. No, useful to for animation eh. Mm. Yung if you're actually slowly building an animated object or character, no, that's normally how you make use or maximize the use of release to layers sequence and release to layers build. All right. Okay. Question so far? None? Okay. So, in this exercise, no, another thing that we will learn is there are two main objectives, no, in this exercise. One is how do we organize, no, or adjust or change the stacking order of the objects. So if I switch to Control Y, outline, no? Makikita mo, lahat ng elements na nakita natin kanina dito sa stereo, it's actually here, no? But they are behind the rectangular shape. Okay? Now, how do we move them, no? From one sublayer to another. Okay? So there are two ways of doing that. Okay? So we can do this, no? Number one, open kasi ang different with this exercise is the instructions are already here. Okay? So we will open the properties panel. So we go window and then properties, okay? Kasi we need this. All right. So then we switch the view from preview to outline. Okay, kasi hidden nga siya. So, Control Y. Ayan, so nandito siya. Now, we will need to move this, okay, behind. Kasi lahat to nasa likod. Tingnan natin ulit, no? So, lahat ng mga small items na to, nasa likod. Okay. So, how do you think we should move it? Okay. So, we click this rectangular shape. Kailangan ilagay natin siya sa likod. Okay. So, we go arrange and then we can choose send to back. Ayan. So, balik ulit natin. Arrange and then send to back. Kasi nawawala yung heart. Ba't nawawala yung heart? So, Control Y or Command Y and then choose the heart. Maybe we can put this on top. So let's move this, click arrange, and then bring to front. Okay? And then Control Y again para mabalik natin. So it's here. Alright? So it's all good. And that ends that particular exercise. Okay. The next exercise is, alright, this one, you will organize or move to other layers, no? So, i-organize natin siya. Other layers. Let me delete this layer. So, I'll delete this, select this, and then click this. Kasi we don't need that. Also, this one. Well, we don't need this. All right. Okay. So, we will organize the elements, no? So, itong part na to would be the header. This one will be your content. This one is your background. And then this particular section as a footer, no? So, we'll create 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4 layers that we'll need to create. So, I can just click on this button here 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, if we analyze the picture, syempre, ang background mo nasa likod na likod. So, ang gagawin ko is lalagay ko dito background. Alright. Okay. So, I can remove this. Control X. Ay. Okay. I can do a control X. Eh, I don't know. Wala. Okay. Ay, nakalock. Okay, nakalock pala siya. So, click natin yan. So, nakalock siya. Okay, yan, nakalock. So, I'll select this, Control X, and then I can go edit and then paste and place, or Shift Control V. Okay, so ayan siya. Alright. Then next is yung footer. So we select this section X, put it on the next layer, rename it to footer. Okay. And then Shift Control, ano sabi niya? Shift Control. Okay, so gagawin natin Shift Control V. Yan. Okay. So, click natin yung visibility para kita natin na nandun siya. Alright. And then, next is the content. Ito, yung content. So, ito siya. No? Content. Cut it, Control X, and then we'll go to, and then select this. No? Select content, and then Shift Control V. Yan. So, ayan yung content natin. Then, lastly, ito na, yung ating header. So, if you need to do multiple selections, use the arrow key or the selection tool, and then hold down Shift, tapos click mo yung mga elements na kailangan mo. Okay, you can do that. And then, Control X to cut, no? Select the layer 6, rename it to header, no? And then Shift Control V. Ayan. Alright. So, we can, I hid the organize items, which is the original layer, no? Para we get to see what we have done so far. So, ito siya, no? We have organized it according to the instructions. Okay. Question so far? None? All right. So we have 15 minutes to do this exercise. Let's do 15 minutes, no? So again, you'll use the layers exercise file. Yan.
Yun lang naman po. Thank you po.
Okay. So let me just wrap up. So we've basically covered under organizing and viewing your artwork. No? So you have creating artboards. We covered the viewing elements, no? Various ways of doing that. And then you also have yung layers. No? Then tomorrow, I've already posted these items. Now we're gonna cover tomorrow, which is drawing basics. So there's a quick tool guide, which you can print, or just open or download. This one. Okay. So again, this is showing us yung basic toolbar. And then we also have the exercises. No? So meron tayong file that we have to download and use tomorrow. So yung drawing basic shapes. And then you have pen tool basics. And there's also a game na I added here that you can also try out during your own time. Yeah, personal time. Okay. All right. Then tomorrow, we're gonna discuss the final project. So meron tayong final project. We'll post it tomorrow and discuss it before we end the session. All right. Questions so far? None? All right. So that concludes our session 2. Thank you very much and see you tomorrow.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Thank you po.